soft winter light stretches across a quiet, small town. Snow sits lightly on rooftops, store signs still glowing faintly from Christmas lights that were never taken down. The town feels suspended, like it's between something that ended and something that hasn't started yet. A few early walkers move through the streets, slow, quiet, familiar. A banner still hangs across the town square. Snowdrift Winter Gala. Thank you for coming. It sways slightly in the cold wind. A slow push through the town reveals closed gift shops, steam rising from cafe vents, a bookstore with warm light glowing inside, Snowdrift books. The windows are fogged from warmth inside. A bell softly jingles as the front door shifts slightly from the wind outside. The bookstore is nearly empty. Half-cleaned gala decorations still hang around the shop. Gold ribbon, snowflake ornaments, strands of warm lights lazily draped around bookshelves. The aftermath of something beautiful. Kayden Brooks stands behind the counter organizing returned books. Oversized sweater, curly hair loosely tied back. Still tired, but not unhappy. Just thoughtful. She pauses while shelving a book. Her eyes drift toward the large front windows, watching the snow outside, watching people move on with their lives. A pause. Then, her phone buzzes against the counter. She glances down. A text from Maya. You've just disappeared since the gala. Are you still alive, girl? Kayden smiles faintly despite herself. Another text immediately follows. Maya. Also, don't forget my rooftop New Year's party. 2 weeks, mandatory. Kayden shakes her head softly. Under her breath, Kayden. Of course it is. Kayden sets the phone down beside the register. But instead of going back to work immediately, her eyes drift again toward the snowy street outside, almost unconsciously, like she's expecting someone, or hoping to. It is very beautiful out there. She grabs another stack of books, tries focusing, fails. A small smile keeps threatening to appear every few seconds before she forces it away again. Lila walks past carrying a box of leftover gala decorations. She notices immediately. Lila. You're doing the thing again. Kayden looks up. Guilty. What thing? What are you talking about? Lila. The staring out the window thing. Kayden quickly looks back down at the books. I'm literally working. Lila. Right. Lila sets the box down near the counter. A pause. Then, Lila continues. So, are we pretending the gala didn't happen, or... Kayden laughing. Lila, we are not doing this right now. Lila laughing. I'm just asking. Kayden tries hiding another smile. Fails again. Lila grins hard. The bell above the bookstore door suddenly jingles. Cold winter air slips inside. Kayden instinctively looks up and freezes. Standing in the doorway is Xavier Reyes. Dark coat dusted lightly with snow. Camera bag over one shoulder, hair messy from the wind outside. He looks tired from traveling, but the second he sees her, his expression softens completely. Like the entire town disappears for a second. Neither of them speak immediately, just staring, too aware of each other. For a second, neither of them moves. Then Xavier smiles slightly. Easy. Natural. Like seeing her is the first thing all morning that actually settled him. Xavier. So this is where you disappeared to. Kayden lets out a quiet laugh before she can stop herself. I work here. Xavier steps further inside, letting the bookstore door close behind him. The warmth immediately fogs the lenses hanging from his jacket. Xavier, smiling. Right, forgot that part. Kayden crosses her arms lightly, trying to look more composed than she feels. Kayden blinks. Lila, still nearby, immediately turns away, trying not to react. Failing completely. Xavier notices the leftover gala decorations hanging around the shop. Xavier continued. You kept some of it up. Kayden. Mr. Whitelock says taking decorations down before New Year's is emotionally aggressive. Xavier laughs softly. God, she missed that sound. Their eyes meet again, this time lingering slightly longer. There's something different now. Not uncertainty. Something real settled quietly between them after the gala. And somehow that feels scarier. Xavier slowly approaches the counter. Not too close, but enough that Kayden notices. Enough that she suddenly becomes very aware of. Her heartbeat, the silence, the tiny snowflakes still melting on his coat. So, you busy? Kayden glances dramatically around the nearly empty bookstore. Overwhelmed, actually. Xavier. That's unfortunate. Xavier leans lightly against the counter, relaxed on the outside, but there's still this quiet, nervous energy underneath him now that wasn't there before the gala. Like he's suddenly careful with her. Xavier. I want you to come with me somewhere, just for a little bit. Kayden raises an eyebrow immediately. Kayden. That sounds suspiciously vague. That's because I don't have a full plan yet. Fantastic. My favorite kind of plan. Xavier smiles. Xavier. I was thinking coffee first, then maybe walking around town until we accidentally figure out the rest. Kayden tries not to smile too hard, fails a little. Lila quietly slips away toward the back room. The second she realizes this has become a moment. Absolutely abandoning Kayden. With a smile on her face. Kayden. You just got back into town a few weeks ago and your plan is wander aimlessly? Xavier. Worked pretty well for me at the gala. That lands. Kayden immediately looks down for a second, trying to hide how much it affects her hearing him bring that night up so casually. Xavier notices. Of course he notices. He notices everything with her. A softer pause settles between them now. The bookstore suddenly feels too quiet, too warm, too small. Xavier continued. Unless you're busy. Kayden looks at him again. And there it is. That tiny uncertainty in his voice, like part of him still isn't fully sure she'd choose him. Kayden opens her mouth to answer. Then, the back office door suddenly swings open. Mr. Whitelock emerges carrying an absurdly tall stack of old accounting folders, late 60s, wool sweater, glasses sliding down his nose, looks permanently annoyed at modern technology. He stops the second he notices Xavier standing there, then looks between both of them slowly. Too slowly. Mr. Whitelock. Ah. Kayden immediately knows that, dangerous. Mr. Whitelock adjusts the folders in his arms. So this is what's been going on when there is no customers. Kayden. I've been working all morning. Mr. Whitelock. Mm-hmm. He keeps staring knowingly. Kayden wants the earth to swallow her alive. Xavier, meanwhile, looks far too entertained by this. Xavier. Good to see you too, Mr. Whitelock. Mr. Whitelock, jokingly. You too, son. But I gotta ask, are you staying in the city forever now? Xavier. I wish. Mr. Whitelock, jokingly. Well, as soon as you walked in suddenly, my employee forgot how shelves work. You might as well stay. Kayden covers her face briefly. Kayden. Please stop talking. Mr. Whitelock carefully sets the folders onto the counter. Then casually, Mr. Whitelock. You taking her somewhere? Kayden's eyes widened immediately. Kayden. Oh my God. Xavier. That was the plan, yeah. Mr. Whitelock nods thoughtfully like this is deeply important town business. Which honestly, to him, it probably is. Mr. Whitelock, laughing. Well, make sure you bring her back in one piece. Kayden quickly steps around the counter, trying to regain some control over the situation before Mr. Whitelock turns this into a town announcement. Kayden. Well, I never actually said I was going. Mr. Whitelock. You're standing 3 feet away from him trying not to smile. I think legally that counts as going. That's not how that works. Xavier laughs quietly beside her, which only makes this worse somehow. Kayden grabs a random book off the counter just to have something to do with her hands. I do, in fact, have responsibilities. Mr. Whitelock looks around the nearly empty bookstore, then back at her. Name one currently happening. Kayden opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. Silence. Xavier watches her carefully now, not pushing, not teasing anymore, just waiting, like he genuinely wants her to choose this, choose him, and somehow that makes her more nervous than if he'd pressured her. A long pause. Then finally, Kayden. Coffee first. Xavier's expression softens instantly. Small, real. Okay, fine. Coffee first. Kayden tries hiding how much that tiny look affected her. Fails completely. She quickly grabs her coat from behind the counter. If this turns into walking around aimlessly for 6 hours, I'm blaming you personally. Xavier. That feels fair. As Kayden pulls her coat on, Mr. Whitelock quietly leans toward Xavier, low enough that Kayden can't hear. Don't break her heart. Xavier's smile fades slightly. Not defensive, just honest. Xavier. Wasn't planning to. You got my word. Kayden finishes pulling on her coat while trying very hard not to look overly aware of Xavier standing only a few feet away. Which is difficult, because he keeps looking at her like she's the only girl that matters in the world. Mr. Whitelock disappears back toward the office. The second he's gone, Kayden exhales dramatically. I'm never emotionally recovering from that conversation, Xavier. Honestly, I think he was threatening me more than you. Kayden. Good. Means it worked. Xavier smiles softly at that. But it doesn't fully reach his eyes this time. Kayden notices immediately. A small flicker of thought crosses her face, like she almost asks what's wrong, but she hesitates. And Xavier, true to himself, smooths the emotion away before she can reach it. Instead, he reaches for the bookstore door and holds it open for her. Cold winter air rushes inside again, the town outside glowing softly beneath gray skies. Xavier. Ready? Kayden looks at him for 1 second too long, nervous, excited, scared of how natural this already feels. Then finally, ask me again in 6 hours when my feet stop working. Xavier laughs quietly, and together, they step out into the cold. Snow crunches softly beneath their boots as they walk side by side down the decorated main street. The sky is pale gray now, soft snow drifting lazily through the air. The town still looks festive, but calmer than it did during the gala. Like the holiday season is slowly coming to an end. For a few seconds, neither of them says anything. Not uncomfortable, just aware of each other, of how different this feels now. Xavier glances over at her. You know, I did have a backup plan in case you said no. Kayden keeps her eyes ahead. Was it another vague plan? Xavier. Mostly wandering sadly in the snow. That earns a laugh from her immediately. Kayden. Very dramatic. Xavier smiles. A couple passes them carrying shopping bags. The woman smiles at Kayden and Xavier as they walk by. Kayden immediately notices, and immediately pretends she didn't. Kayden. People are being weird. Xavier. You mean the entire town acting like we're starring in a holiday movie now? Kayden. Exactly that. Xavier grins. Could be worse. Kayden. How? He thinks for a second. Xavier. There could be carolers. Kayden points at him instantly. Kayden laughing. Don't even joke about that. That would be very embarrassing. They continue walking, holding hands, their shoulders occasionally brushing accidentally, neither moving away afterward. A few minutes pass, then Xavier glances toward her again, softer now. You disappeared pretty fast after the gala. Kayden looks down briefly. There it is, the thing she's been trying not to think about since that night. How real this became afterward. Kayden immediately points at him, defensive already. You disappeared too. Xavier looks genuinely surprised for half a second. Xavier. I was looking for you. Kayden. I looked for you first. That sounds made up. Kayden. You sound made up. He laughs quietly again. God, that laugh keeps dragging her in. They stop briefly at a crosswalk while cars roll slowly through the snowy street. Kayden keeps her eyes ahead, trying to act unaffected, failing completely. Xavier. So you did think about me after the gala. Kayden immediately looks over at him. I did not say that. Xavier. You implied it. A comfortable silence settles briefly between them again, but underneath it, there's nervousness now, because neither of them really knows what this is supposed to look like after the gala anymore. They crossed into something real that night, and now every interaction suddenly matters more. Xavier glances toward her carefully, softer this time. For the record, Kayden looks at him. I kept thinking about you too. That lands harder than it should. Kayden's entire body subtly tenses for a second. Not because she dislikes hearing it, because she likes hearing it too much. Kayden looks away almost immediately after he says it, like holding eye contact suddenly became dangerous. Snow drifts softly around them as they walk. The town noise fades into the background for a moment. When she finally speaks again, her voice is quieter, more honest than before. Kayden. I didn't really know what to do after that night. Xavier's expression softens instantly. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't joke, just listens. Kayden stuffs her hands deeper into her coat pockets. Nervous habit. Everything felt different after the gala. A pause. Kayden continued. And I think that scared me a little. That confession hangs softly between them. Cold air, warm breath, snow falling around the silence. Xavier slows slightly beside her. Not because he's uncomfortable, because he's taking her seriously. Always. Xavier. Scared in a bad way? Kayden lets out a tiny nervous laugh. I don't know yet. Honest. Painfully honest. Xavier watches her for a second longer than usual. Then, Xavier. Good. Kayden looks at him immediately, confused. Good? Xavier. Yeah. A small shrug. Means I'm not the only one freaking out a little. That catches her off guard. Because Xavier always seems calm, grounded, certain, and suddenly realizing he's nervous too changes something. Before Kayden can answer, the warm glow of a cafe comes into view at the corner of the street. Soft amber lights shine through fogged windows. A painted sign hangs above the entrance. Maya's cafe music hums softly from inside. Xavier glances toward it. Perfect timing. Kayden narrows her eyes slightly. You brought me here on purpose? Xavier. Maybe. Kayden. You realize Maya's going to interrogate us immediately. Xavier. I'm emotionally prepared. Kayden. You shouldn't be. They approach the entrance. Kayden slows slightly near the door. Nervous again. Because walking around town with Xavier suddenly feels less secret now. More public. More real. Xavier notices the hesitation but says nothing. Just quietly opens the cafe door for her. Warm air spills out immediately. Coffee, pastries, laughter, music. The cafe is busy with late-morning customers escaping the cold. String lights glow across the ceiling. A small stage sits in the corner where Elias Mercer casually tunes an acoustic guitar before his afternoon set. Behind the counter, Maya looks up while making a drink order and freezes instantly. Her eyes move from Kayden to Xavier, then back to Kayden again, slowly. Kayden. Don't. Maya, I literally haven't even spoken yet. Your face is already speaking for you. Maya immediately abandons the drink she was making and walks toward them. Maya. Okay, but respectfully, to Xavier. You look ridiculously too good for someone who just caused my best friend to mentally disappear for 3 days. Kayden covers her face instantly, laughing. Okay, I'm leaving. Xavier. Honestly, that feels fair. Maya points at him approvingly. Maya. See? That's charm. That's dangerous. From the corner stage, Elias glances up briefly. He notices Kayden's nervousness. Xavier watching her constantly, the unresolved emotional energy between them. He says nothing, just quietly observes. Kayden immediately grabs Xavier's sleeve before Maya can continue ruining her life publicly. Nope, we're done here. Maya gasps dramatically. Kayden pulls Xavier toward a quieter table near the window while Maya grins at her counter. Xavier looks entirely too entertained by all of this. Xavier. You know, I'm starting to think your friend don't trust me. Kayden slides into the booth. Trust me, they trust you exactly enough. Xavier. That sounds threatening. Kayden. Good. As Xavier sits across from her, a nearby couple suddenly recognizes them. Mid-50s, small-town energy, absolutely invested. The woman immediately smiles. Woman. Oh my goodness, you're the Gala couple. Kayden physically freezes. Xavier tries not to laugh. Fails slightly. The woman nudges her husband excitedly. See? I told you it was them. Her husband nods like this is breaking local news. Husband. Knew it immediately. Kayden wants to evaporate into the booth cushions. Kayden. We're being perceived. Xavier quietly laughs into his coffee menu. Tragic. Kayden points at him instantly. This is your fault somehow. Xavier. I'm choosing to take that as romantic. The couple finally leaves them alone, still whispering excitedly to each other. Kayden slowly sinks lower in her seat. I can never go outside again. I'm just going to lock myself in my apartment. Xavier. I don't know, I think the town's rooting for us pretty hard. That sentence lands softer than he intended. Us. Kayden notices it too. A tiny silence settles between them again. Different this time, more intimate. Near the stage, Elias quietly watches the moment while adjusting guitar strings. Not judging, just noticing. Like he already sees the emotional storm forming long before they do. Before the silence between them can grow too heavy, Maya suddenly appears beside the booth carrying 2 drinks. Way too fast. Like she's been waiting for the exact emotional moment to interrupt. Maya. 1 caramel latte for Kayden because she panics emotionally after 11 a.m., slides drink toward Xavier, and black coffee for mysterious photography boy. Xavier looks impressed. That's a concerningly accurate description of me, Maya points proudly. I read people professionally. Kayden. You're supposed to be selling me coffee professionally. Maya. Same skill set. Maya notices the lingering tension between them immediately. Of course she does. Her eyes narrow slightly. Interested. Dangerous. Maya continued. So, are we acting weird yet, or are we still in the trying to seem normal phase? Kayden nearly chokes on her latte. Please leave. Maya. That answers my question perfectly. Xavier laughs quietly again, relaxed around them now, that warmth slowly returning. Maya sees it. She genuinely likes him already, which honestly surprises Kayden a little. Before leaving, Maya points toward Kayden. By the way, she spent 3 days pretending she wasn't thinking about you. Kayden's eyes widen immediately. Maya. Maya. Okay, goodbye. And she vanishes back toward the counter before Kayden can launch something at her. Silence again. Kayden stares into her latte. Xavier tries very hard not to smile too hard. Fails. Xavier. 3 days? Kayden refuses eye contact. I'm revoking her friendship rights. Xavier. I don't know. I found the information helpful. Kayden finally looks up at him, still embarrassed, still flustered, but smiling anyway. A softer quiet settles between them now. Less nervous, more honest. Kayden takes a sip of her drink before speaking again, carefully casual. So, how are your siblings? The question shifts something slightly in Xavier's expression. Not bad. He leans back slightly in the booth. Xavier. Loud. Kayden smiles faintly. Kayden. Your siblings? Xavier nods. And just mentioning them softens him instantly. Xavier. Emma apparently already decided abandoning her forever. Kayden. Reasonable reaction, honestly, I felt the same way. Xavier. Elijah tried charging me $20 to get back into the house. Kayden laughs immediately. Real laughter this time. Kayden keeps lightly tracing the rim of her coffee cup with her thumb. Thinking. Xavier notices the shift immediately. The way she always goes quieter before talking about something real. Xavier. What about your family? Kayden gives a small shrug at first. Automatic. Deflective. Kayden. They're around, I guess. Xavier smiles slightly. Xavier. That sounded emotionally suspicious. Kayden lets out a soft laugh through her nose, but it fades quickly. Outside the cafe windows, snow continues falling steadily now, the town moving slowly beyond the glass. Warmth inside, cold outside. Kayden. I don't know. A pause. My family's always been kinda distant. Xavier listens carefully. No interruption. Everybody's close, but not close. She struggles to explain it. Like, we show up for holidays and birthdays and emergencies. But that's really it. A small shrug. That sentence hangs heavier than she intended. Xavier's expression softens. Because suddenly a lot about her makes sense. The way she avoids conflict. The way she retreats emotionally instead of saying what she needs. Kayden stares down into her drink. I think that's why I mostly just stay around Maya. A tiny smile finally returns. She doesn't really let me disappear. She's really all I have. Across the cafe, Maya loudly argues with a customer about whipped cream proportions. Xavier glances toward Maya briefly, then back at Kayden. Xavier. It sounds like she's a really important person in your life. Kayden nods faintly. She really is. A pause. Then quieter. Kayden continued. Sometimes it's easier being around people who ask you how you're doing and actually wait for the answer. Actually caring. Xavier realizes Kayden isn't used to being emotionally held onto, which suddenly makes every nervous glance and hesitation feel a little sadder, and a little more important. A soft guitar chord cuts gently through the cafe. Both of them glance toward the small stage near the corner. Elias sits beneath warm hanging lights, casually strumming his acoustic guitar. The cafe noise lowers slightly around him. Not silent, just softer, like the whole room naturally leans toward the music. Elias doesn't look directly at them, but somehow it still feels like he understands exactly what just happened at their table. A slow, warm melody fills the cafe. Melancholy without being sad. Comforting. Reflective. The kind of music that makes winter feel lonelier and safer at the same time. Kayden exhales quietly, almost unconsciously relaxing. Xavier notices immediately. You enjoy him? Kayden glances toward Elias, a tiny smile appearing again. Kayden. Everybody enjoys Elias. On stage, Elias briefly looks toward them while still playing. Just for a second, not intrusive, almost like he's checking emotional weather. Then his attention returns to the guitar. Kayden continues. He kind of just appears whenever people are falling apart emotionally. Xavier. That feels concerningly specific. Kayden. You'll see. The music continues softly underneath the scene now. Outside, snow thickens against the cafe windows, the town slowly disappearing into white. And for the first time all morning, things feel calm, not forced, not performative, not nervous, just calm. Xavier watches the snowfall outside for a moment before looking back at her. Something thoughtful settling behind his eyes again, like there's something he almost says, but doesn't. Xavier keeps watching the snow outside the cafe windows, but his focus isn't really on the weather anymore. Something heavier settles into his expression. Thoughtful, conflicted. Kayden notices almost immediately, because she's already learning his silences. Kayden. What? Xavier looks back at her. A small hesitation. Then, Xavier. Nothing. Kayden narrows her eyes instantly. That was absolutely a something face. He smiles faintly at that. Caught. Xavier looks down at his cup briefly, turning it slightly between his hands. Nervous energy. Rare for him. Xavier. Before he can finish, Maya suddenly claps loudly from behind the counter, hard enough that half the cafe looks over. Okay, important announcement. Kayden immediately closes her eyes. Kayden. There it is. Maya points dramatically toward the entire cafe. New Year's Eve rooftop party, my penthouse. 2 weeks. She points directly at Kayden and Xavier now, aggressively. Maya continued. And before either of you find excuses, you're both coming. Xavier leans back slightly in the booth, amused. Xavier. Do we have a choice? Maya laughing. Not really, no. Maya walks closer now, lowering her voice dramatically. Maya continued. I'm serious, though. It's gonna be huge. She gestures excitedly. Music, countdown, rooftop view of the whole city. Pointing at Kayden. And you are not hiding in your apartment this year pretending New Year's celebrations are overstimulating. Kayden looks offended. Kayden. They are overstimulating. Maya. And yet you're still attending, so... Xavier watches Kayden smile again. And for a second, whatever he almost said earlier disappears behind it. Like he chooses not to ruin this moment. Not yet. But Kayden notices the shift. That tiny unfinished thought still lingering behind his eyes. And now it quietly stays with her too. The snowfall has softened into a light drift now. The center of the town buzzes with post-holiday energy as workers prepare for the upcoming New Year's festival. String lights hang across buildings. Large speakers are being tested near a temporary stage. Volunteers carry decorations through the square. Kayden and Xavier walk side by side through the crowd, warm drinks in hand, shoulders brushing occasionally. People notice them immediately. Of course they do. A woman hanging silver decorations from a ladder smiles down at them. Woman. There they are. Kayden immediately groans under her breath. Kayden. Why does everyone talk about us like escaped zoo animals? Xavier takes a sip of coffee. As they continue walking, more people wave, smile knowingly, whisper. None of it feels mean, which somehow makes it harder to escape. The town square glows softly beneath the cloudy winter sky. Music hums faintly from nearby speakers while workers test countdown lights hanging near the center stage. A massive digital clock sits covered beneath a tarp nearby, waiting for New Year's Eve, waiting for midnight. Kayden notices Xavier looking at it, just briefly, but long enough to feel thoughtful, distant. Kayden. You keep doing that. Xavier looks back at her. Doing what? Kayden. Leaving mentally for 3 seconds at a time. A small smile appears on his face. Caught again. Xavier. Oh, sorry. Kayden. You thinking about work? The question lands softly, carefully, not accusing, just curious. Xavier hesitates, only for a second, but Kayden notices that too. Xavier looks back toward the festival workers for a second before answering, carefully choosing his words. Kind of. Kayden stays quiet, waiting. The wind picks up softly around them, carrying distant music through the square. People continue moving around them, laughing, decorating, living. Meanwhile, the energy between them shifts slightly quieter, more personal. Xavier finally exhales. Things have just been busy lately. Kayden watches him closely. He's still holding something back, but not completely. Xavier continued. A few photographers I worked with last year reached out again. Kayden nods slowly. Interested. Maybe a little nervous now, too. Kayden. That's good, though, right? Xavier gives a small shrug. Not fully agreeing. Not disagreeing either. Xavier. Yeah, a pause. Xavier continues. Just means I have some decisions to make soon. That sentence lingers between them. He says it casually, but something underneath it feels heavier. Kayden subtly tightens her grip around her coffee cup. Not because she understands yet, because part of her already senses this conversation matters more than he's pretending it does. Before she can ask more, a loud burst of feedback screeches from the festival speakers nearby. Both of them flinch instantly. Kayden nearly jumps. Xavier laughs immediately. Kayden. I just lost 6 years off my life. The tension breaks slightly again, but not fully, because underneath the warmth now, something uncertain has finally entered, and both of them feel it, even if neither fully says it yet. Xavier smiles softly at her. That quieter kind of smile again. The one that feels less like flirting and more like genuine affection. They continue walking slowly through the square, snow crunching beneath their boots, the crowd around them somehow making the moment feel more private instead of less. Xavier glances sideways at her. You know, Kayden looks over. Xavier continued. You're a lot less shy with me now. That catches her slightly off guard. She looks ahead quickly. Kayden. That's unfortunate for you. Xavier. I don't know. I kind of like this version of you. That lands immediately. Kayden tries not to react too visibly. Fails a little. Kayden. You say things very casually for someone trying to ruin my emotional stability. Xavier laughs quietly. I'm trying to improve it, actually. Their eyes meet again. Longer this time. The noise of the festival slowly blurring around them. Then, Xavier's phone vibrates sharply in his coat pocket. The shift is immediate. Subtle, but immediate. He pulls the phone out, and the second he sees the screen, his expression changes slightly. Not panic, but tension. Real tension. Kayden notices instantly. Of course she does. A name flashes briefly across the screen. Julian Pierce. Alongside a preview message. Need your answer soon. Florida project starts immediately after New Year's. Xavier quickly lowers the phone before Kayden can fully read it. Too quick. Kayden slows slightly beside him. Not dramatic. Just enough to notice the change in him. The way his shoulders tightened. The way his expression disappeared for half a second. Kayden. Who was that? Xavier looks up from the phone immediately. Too quickly. Like he already prepared an answer before she even asked. Xavier. Just work stuff. Kayden studies him quietly. Because technically, that wasn't an answer. The sounds of the festival continue around them. Ladders moving, music testing, people laughing. But the warmth from earlier shifted slightly now. Not broken, just thinner. Kayden. You said that weirdly? Xavier gives a small, confused laugh. Xavier. There's a normal way to say work stuff? Kayden. There's a guilty way. That lands harder than she intended. Xavier glances away briefly toward the town square lights, thinking, hesitating again. That same hesitation from the cafe. Xavier. It's nothing bad. It's actually amazing for me, but at the same time unfortunate. Kayden nods slowly, but she notices. He still didn't actually explain. A moment passes between them, neither fully sure whether to push further or let it go. And because Kayden hates confrontation, she lets it go, at least outwardly. But something quietly changes inside her. Tiny, almost invisible. The first real seed of uncertainty. The silence between them stretches slightly too long, not hostile, just uncertain. Then Xavier suddenly bumps his shoulder lightly against hers. Gentle. Intentional. Kayden looks over immediately. What was that supposed to mean? Xavier. Laughing. Oh, nothing. That earns a laugh out of her before she can stop it. And just like that, some of the tension softens again. Not gone, but softer. Xavier slips his phone back into his coat pocket, choosing, at least for now, to stay here with her instead of wherever his thoughts keep pulling him. Xavier. Come on! Kayden narrows her eyes slightly. That's usually how bad decisions start. Xavier. You already agreed to wander around with me for a little bit. He gestures toward the snowy side streets leading away from the festival. Xavier. Walk with me a little longer? And there's that look again. Not pressure. Not charm. Something quieter. Like spending time with her genuinely matters to him. Kayden pretends to think about it dramatically. Fine, but if I freeze to death, I'm haunting you specifically. Xavier. Fair. They continue walking through the falling snow together. The festival lights glowing warmly behind them now. Their footsteps slow, conversation easier again. But hidden underneath the comfort, that unanswered text still lingers quietly between them, even if neither says it out loud. They stop at a food truck and grab food. Soft sunlight filters through frosted apartment windows. The apartment is small, cozy, lived in, books stacked everywhere, candles half burned on shelves, blankets thrown across the couch. A small Christmas tree that is decorated a little bit, a place built for comfort. Kayden pushes open the apartment door, stepping inside with frozen hands. Xavier follows behind her with her and his coffee cups. He pauses briefly looking around, taking everything in, not judging, just observing carefully the way photographers do. Xavier. This feels exactly what I imagined your apartment to look like. Kayden pulls off her coat. Xavier, looking at a bunch of books on her coffee table, laughing. So you don't just work at a bookstore? You have one here in your apartment. She quickly starts gathering them. Okay, first of all, those are for decoration. Xavier. All fine with me. That just shows that you're not only pretty, but also smart too. Kayden smiles and rolls her eyes. Kayden quickly puts the books on a shelf. It was an artistic decision. Don't judge. Xavier sets the cups onto the kitchen counter. The apartment suddenly feels warmer now. Smaller too. Not in a bad way. Just private. Outside, snow continues drifting past the windows while soft city lights slowly begin glowing as evening approaches. Kayden moves toward the tiny kitchen area, trying very hard to act normal. even though Xavier standing casually in her apartment somehow feels more intimate than the gala did. And Xavier watches her for just a second too long. Kayden notices and looks into his eyes. Now, more than ever, the feeling of falling in love is becoming more real. And suddenly becomes hyper-aware again of how close he is, how quiet the apartment is, how real this all suddenly feels. She turns quickly toward the kitchen counter. Busy hands, nervous brain. Kayden. So, food first before you continue insulting my decorating choices. Kayden grabs a napkin and throws it at him instantly. He catches it easily, smug about it too. A comfortable silence settles for a moment while they unpack food together. No pressure, no town watching, just them. A few minutes passes by. Takeout containers sit open across Kayden's small coffee table. The apartment lights glow warmly against the darkening winter sky outside. Soft instrumental music hums quietly from a speaker. Nothing loud, just enough to fill the silence. Kayden settles onto the couch with her food tucked carefully in her lap. Xavier sits beside her, close enough that their knees occasionally brush when either of them moves, neither acknowledging it, neither moving away. For a while, they just eat and talk quietly, small things, stories from work, terrible customers, Maya's inability to behave like a normal human being for more than 30 seconds. Easy conversation, comfortable, like they skipped past the awkward stage somehow. Then the conversation slows naturally. The room quieter now. Outside, snow taps softly against the windows. Kayden glances toward him and realizes Xavier's already looking at her. Not in a casual way, in that deeper way again. The one that always makes her feel suddenly transparent. Kayden. What? Xavier shakes his head slightly. Small smile. Xavier. Nothing. Kayden narrows her eyes immediately. Kayden. That's your second suspicious nothing today. Xavier. Am I not allowed to look at you? That sentence lands hard, way harder than he intended. Kayden's breath catches slightly before she can stop it. The air between them shifts instantly, softer, heavier. Neither of them looks away now. The apartment suddenly feels impossibly quiet. Xavier slowly leans closer, careful, giving her time to pull away if she wants. But she doesn't. Kayden's heartbeat pounds hard enough she's convinced he can hear it. Her eyes flick briefly toward his lips, then back up, and Xavier notices that too. Of course he does. They're inches apart now, breath mixing, everything slowing. Neither of them moves. The tension between them turns almost painfully quiet now. Kayden can feel her heartbeat everywhere. Xavier's eyes flick briefly between her eyes and her lips again. He's close enough now that she can feel the cold winter air still lingering on his sweater. And for one dangerous second, it really looks like he's about to kiss her. Then Xavier suddenly freezes slightly, like something jolts him back into reality. His eyes flick toward the oven clock across the kitchen. The time. Something shifts immediately in his expression, not cold, not distant, nervous, actually nervous, for the first time since she met him. Kayden notices instantly, the hesitation, the sudden pullback, and it confuses her immediately. Xavier leans back slightly, running a hand through his hair quickly, trying to recover. I should probably... He stops, starts over. I should probably head home soon. The sentence lands awkwardly in the room. Too fast, too sudden. Kayden tries hiding the flicker of disappointment across her face. Barely. Kayden. Oh. Xavier notices that too, which somehow makes him look guiltier. Xavier. Emma and Elijah are probably still awake waiting for me. Not technically a lie, but not the full truth either, and part of him knows it. Kayden nods slowly, trying not to overthink the sudden change, even though she immediately is. Kayden. Right. Yeah, of course. A quiet silence fills the apartment again. Except now it feels different. Less warm, more uncertain. Xavier stands from the couch a little too quickly, nervous energy all over him now, and Kayden watches carefully. Because suddenly she realizes he's scared too, not just her. She walks him to the door and they exchange a hug. Kayden closes the door and immediately runs to her festive pillow and screams into it. Then she picks up her phone and texts in a group chat with Maya and Lila. Kayden, girls, I blew it. Maya, how? Lila, oh my God, what did you do? Kayden, we were going to kiss for the first time, but right when it was about to happen, he changed his mind and went home. Maya, no, why? We gotta get you right before this New Year's Eve party. I'm getting that kiss out of you two. Lila, count me in. We're going to have you looking very hot for this party, babe. Kayden, well, I'm just going to shower and scream in my pillow for the rest of the day. Both Maya and Lila text LOL. Christmas lights hung up around the living room while old holiday movies play quietly on the television. Blankets everywhere, board games half finished on the coffee table. A real family home. The front door opens. Xavier steps inside quietly, snow dusting his coat. Before he can even fully close the door, Emma, 8, comes sprinting into the hallway. You were gone forever! She collides into him dramatically. Xavier laughs immediately, catching her easily. It was literally a couple hours. Emma, it was basically the whole day. Elijah, 10, appears from the living room holding a video game controller, completely serious. You missed dinner. We considered replacing you. Xavier, fair enough. Xavier sets his bag down while Emma still clings to him like a koala. And for a second, the warmth of the house settles him again, distracts him, until his phone buzzes in his pocket. That same tension returns instantly. He pulls it out quietly. Another message from Julian Pierce. Need confirmation ASAP. Florida team leaves January 2nd. Xavier stares at the screen. Longer this time. Behind him, Emma notices immediately. Kids always notice. You're doing the sad face again. Xavier quickly locks the phone. I don't have a sad face. Elijah, you absolutely do. Emma nods seriously. It's the face you make before adult problems. That line actually hits him a little harder than expected. Xavier forces a small smile toward Emma and Elijah before gently escaping toward the hallway. Xavier, I'm gonna grab my camera stuff before you two officially replace me. Elijah. Too late. We already interviewed candidates. Emma gasps dramatically. Emma. Wait, were we not supposed to tell him? Xavier laughs softly as he disappears down the hall. But the second he's alone, the laughter fades. The room is dimly lit by warm desk lamps and strands of leftover Christmas lights hanging near the window. Camera equipment everywhere, photo prints pinned to walls, memory cards scattered across the desk. A creative space, a restless space. Xavier drops onto the edge of his bed and exhales heavily, finally alone with his thoughts again, which immediately brings him back to Kayden's apartment, the almost kiss, the look on her face when he pulled away. He rubs a hand over his face, frustrated with himself now. But he also realizes that he has a big decision because going to Florida means he could be making big money. After a moment, he reaches for his camera resting on the desk nearby, turns it on. The screen glows softly in the dark room, and suddenly, photos from the Snowdrift Gala fill the screen. Kayden laughing beneath string lights. Kayden looking away shyly while smiling. Kayden dancing. Kayden staring at him when she thought he wasn't looking. Every photo somehow feeling warmer than the last, more personal, more dangerous emotionally. Xavier pauses on one specific photo. Kayden standing alone beneath snowfall outside the gala. Soft golden lights behind her, looking directly at him with her nice curly hair, beautiful eyes, perfect lip gloss, and in her amazing dress, like she trusted him already. That one wrecks him a little. His thumb hovers near the edge of the camera screen. Thinking. Then, instinctively, he grabs his phone from the bed beside him, opens their message thread. The cursor blinks silently. Sorry about earlier. He stares at the unfinished text, deletes it, types again. I wanted to kiss you. He immediately deletes that too. Too honest. Too dangerous. Xavier leans back against the wall behind his bed, phone still in his hand, staring at nothing now. Because the problem isn't the kiss. The problem is, he already knows leaving for Florida would destroy this before it even really begins. And worse, part of him is starting to wonder if he even wants to go anymore. A soft knock interrupts his thoughts. Emma peeks into the room slowly, holding 2 candy canes for no reason. Emma. You're just staring out in the abyss. Xavier looks over. Small, tired smile. Xavier. Apparently I do that a lot now. Emma walks fully inside, looks at the photos still glowing on the camera screen. Then immediately grins. Emma. Oh, it's the bookstore girl. Xavier groans quietly. Please never call her that again. Emma ignores him completely, still staring at the photos. You like her a lot. Like a lot. Xavier doesn't answer right away, because that's the problem. He really, really does. Fresh snow blankets the park in untouched white. Tall pine trees sway softly in the cold morning wind, while the cloudy sky casts everything in pale winter light. Right in the middle of the park is an ice skating rink. The world feels quieter today. Still. Kayden walks slowly along the snowy pathway bundled in an oversized coat and scarf, hands tucked into her sleeves, trying very hard to look emotionally stable, failing internally. Her phone buzzes, the group chat. Maya. Any updates from Mr. Camera Boy? Lila. Did he text you? Kayden immediately types back while walking. Kayden. No. 3 dots instantly appear. Maya. Oh, he's panicking. Lila. Men will disappear for like 12 hours and suddenly think they're mysterious, and then texts back like nothing happened. Kayden smiles despite herself, but it fades quickly, because honestly, the silence is bothering her a little now. She slips the phone back into her pocket and exhales into the cold air, trying not to overthink last night, trying not to replay, the almost kiss him pulling away the weird, nervous look on his face afterward. A dog suddenly sprints past her through the snow chasing a tennis ball wildly. Kayden jumps slightly. The owner yells an apology from across the park. Kayden. You're okay! The dog immediately runs back and nearly crashes into her anyway. Kayden laughs quietly while steadying herself. And for the first time all morning, she relaxes a little. Nearby, children build snowmen while couples walk bundled together through the park paths, which is the only thing that is cleared from snow. Everything feels soft, romantic, winter perfect, which unfortunately keeps reminding her of Xavier. Constantly. She reaches a quiet overlook near the frozen pond and stops walking. Snowflakes drift slowly across the icy water. The whole park feels paused in time. Then, footsteps crunch softly behind her. Familiar footsteps. And before she even turns around, a voice. Warm. Careful. Xavier. You know most people sleep in during their day off from work. Kayden freezes slightly, immediately recognizing his voice, and immediately becoming aware of her heartbeat again. Kayden slowly turns around, and there he is. Xavier stands a few feet behind her beneath falling snow, hands tucked into the pockets of his dark coat. Cold air curls around him while morning light catches against the snow in his hair. And annoyingly, seeing him instantly makes her feel better, even after last night. She hates that a little. Kayden lifts an eyebrow casually, trying very hard to seem unaffected. An interesting strategy disappearing, almost ruining my emotional stability. Xavier laughs quietly, relief immediately flickering across his face, hearing her joke instead of shutting down. Xavier. 12 hours? You counted? Kayden points at him instantly. Kayden. Don't make this worse for yourself. He smiles softly, but underneath it, there's nervousness again, still lingering from last night. Xavier steps closer carefully, not too close, just enough that the distance between them feels intentional now. Xavier. I didn't disappear. Kayden gives him a look. Kayden. You fled my apartment like you was doing something you weren't supposed to. That one actually gets a real laugh out of him, head tilted back slightly, warm breath clouding into the winter air, and for one dangerous second, Kayden forgets she was trying to be annoyed. Again. The laughter fades gradually. A quieter moment settling between them now. Snow falling softly around both of them. Xavier. I'm sorry about last night. That catches her slightly off guard, because suddenly his voice sounds genuinely serious. Kayden looks at him carefully now, trying to read him. Then why'd you leave? And there it is. The real question. Not angry, not dramatic, just honest. Xavier hesitates. Again. And Kayden notices immediately. Again. Xavier looks away briefly toward the frozen pond, snow drifting across the ice. His jaw tightens slightly like he's arguing with himself internally. Then finally, Xavier. Because things are getting real with you. Kayden's expression softens immediately, caught off guard by the honesty. Xavier exhales slowly, trying to explain something he clearly isn't used to saying out loud. Xavier continues. And I think part of me panicked for a second because... He stops, looks back at her, actually nervous now. Xavier continued. There's something I haven't really told you yet. Kayden's heartbeat picks up instantly, not because she knows what's coming, because suddenly things are getting real. The park noise fades into the background again. Just snow, cold air. Both of them standing there too emotionally exposed for 9 a.m. Xavier runs a hand through his hair, trying to say it correctly, trying not to ruin this. Xavier continued. A photographer I used to work with offered me a huge project in Florida right after New Year's. And there it is, finally spoken out loud. The thing that's been sitting on his mind for days. Kayden's face falls slightly before she can hide it. Tiny, almost invisible, but Xavier sees it anyway. Kayden. Florida? Not a question, just repeating it back like it doesn't sound real yet. Xavier nods once, carefully. Xavier. It'd start right after New Year's. A pause, then quieter. Xavier continues. And I think last night I realized I don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. That line lands hard, because now Kayden understands. He didn't leave because he didn't want her. He left because he didn't want to hurt her after having a great day. Her voice comes out quieter than before, less teasing, more careful. Well, are you taking it? The question hangs heavily between them. Xavier doesn't answer immediately. And honestly, that answer tells her almost as much as words would. Snow continues drifting softly around them while distant laughter echoes somewhere deeper in the park. The whole world somehow continuing normally while this conversation changes everything. Xavier. I don't really know now. Honest. Frustratingly honest. He looks at her fully now. No hiding. Xavier continues. A month ago, I would have said yes immediately. That one hurts a little, even though she understands what he means. Xavier steps slightly closer, careful again, like he's afraid one wrong sentence will make her pull away. But then you happened. Kayden's breath catches softly, and suddenly all the cold air around them feels thinner. Xavier shakes his head faintly, half overwhelmed by his own feelings. Xavier continued. And now everything feels complicated. Kayden looks away toward the frozen pond, trying to steady herself emotionally, because part of her wants to feel relieved hearing that. But another part of her hears, there's still a chance he leaves. A quiet sadness settles behind her eyes. Not dramatic, just real. Kayden. You should take it if it's what you've always wanted. Xavier watches her carefully, because her voice sounds supportive, but her eyes don't. Xavier. That's not really what you want to say. Kayden gives a tiny smile that almost breaks halfway through. Caught again. Kayden. No. A pause. Then honestly, it's not. That vulnerability hangs softly between them as snow falls around both of them. No games now, no flirting to hide behind, just two people realizing feelings alone might not solve timing. The silence between them stretches softly, not uncomfortable, just heavy with things neither fully knows how to fix yet. Snow drifts between them while the frozen pond glows pale beneath the cloudy sky. Kayden looks down briefly, thinking. Then finally, she looks back up at him, nervous again, but trying anyway. Kayden. Well, like you heard yesterday, Maya's New Year's party is on the rooftop of her penthouse. Xavier blinks slightly at the sudden shift in topic, caught off guard. Kayden continues. There's going to be music and loads of people. A tiny smile tugs at Xavier's mouth. Kayden keeps talking before she loses confidence. And I know technically she already invited you. A pause. Then quieter. but I wanted to ask you myself. That lands immediately, because suddenly this isn't, show up if you want. It's, I want you there. Xavier's entire expression softens. Completely. Kayden tries pretending this isn't terrifying for her. Fails slightly. Kayden. So, she nervously gestures toward him. Would you maybe want to come with me? I don't want to go alone. And there it is. Simple, honest, vulnerable. Kayden Brooks asking a guy to do something with her, something she has never asked someone before. For a second, Xavier just looks at her, almost stunned by how sincere she sounds, by how much she clearly means it. Then slowly, he smiles, small, real, the kind that reaches his eyes completely. Xavier. Yeah, of course, I'd really love to come with you. And suddenly, despite Florida, despite uncertainty, despite all the fear quietly growing between them, Kayden smiles again too, because for now, he's still here. The mall is huge, packed with post-Christmas shoppers and leftover holiday chaos. Massive decorations still hang from the ceiling, twinkling lights, fake snow displays, fake snowflake displays, overly cheerful instrumental music playing through speakers, an area where you can take pictures with a fake Santa Claus in the middle. The entire place feels aggressively festive. Kayden walks through the crowd carrying multiple shopping bags while Maya and Lila move several steps ahead arguing loudly about outfit choices. Maya moves through the mall like she owns it, confident, fast-talking, impossible to ignore. Lila walks beside her carrying shopping bags with effortless confidence, cool without trying, sharp-tongued, protective underneath the sarcasm. The three enter a clothing store glowing with gold lights and New Year displays, racks of dresses and winter outfits everywhere. Maya immediately grabs a sequined black dress off a mannequin. Maya. Kayden, this is definitely the dress. Kayden stares at it like it personally offended her. That dress is definitely nowhere close to my style. Lila flips through clothing racks nearby. Then, her phone vibrates. The shift in her expression is immediate. Subtle, but immediate. Maya notices first, because Maya notices everything. Maya. What happened? Lila quickly locks the screen. Too fast. Nothing. Kayden and Maya exchange a look immediately. That was definitely something. Maya slowly lowers the dress. Dangerously calm now. Lila. Lila exhales sharply, annoyed already. It's just Ryan. Kayden immediately reacts. Kayden. The guy from the bar you told me you went to? Lila nods once, frustrated. Maya. Wait. You are the only girl I have eyes for and I want to be with you forever but has loads of excuses on why y'all can't see each other guy. Lila. Yes, that guy. Maya. Oh, absolutely not. Lila finally pulls the phone back out and shows them the message. Ryan. Can't make it the party. Something came up. Kayden winces sympathetically, but Maya immediately narrows her eyes. Maya. See what I mean? Excuses. Lila. Maya. No, I'm serious. She points aggressively now. You deserve someone who acts excited to see you. Someone who is going to make an effort. Like Kayden's man. That lands harder than expected. Even Lila goes quiet for a second. Because underneath all her confidence, this actually hurts her more than she lets people see. Lila stares at the text again, just for a second. Long enough for both Maya and Kayden to realize it bothered her more than she's letting on. Then, she locks the phone, slides it into her pocket, and forces a smile. Anyway, she claps her hands once, a little too brightly. Lila continued. We're not talking about Ryan in a clothing store. We got to get our girl right. Kayden watches them like she's watching the same argument they've been having for years. Because honestly, she is. Lila quickly grabs a random dress off a nearby rack, holding it up dramatically. Look, a distraction. Maya looks at the dress, then at Lila, then back at the dress. Maya. That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen, Lila. Perfect. We're discussing that now. Maya immediately snatches it from her, offended on behalf of fashion. This dress looks like it lost a fight and was put back on the rack. Kayden. With what? Maya. Everything. For a few minutes, the conversation moves on. at least outwardly. But Kayden notices something. Lila isn't really laughing as much anymore. She's participating, smiling, joking. But there's a distance there now. A tiny emotional wall. And because Kayden knows her, she knows exactly what that means. Lila is hurt. She's just refusing to admit it. A few stores later, the three emerge into the center of the mall carrying even more shopping bags. A giant Christmas tree towers over the main atrium. Children run past. Holiday music plays overhead. Maya suddenly stops walking, eyes widening, dangerously. Maya, absolutely not. Kayden and Lila look over. Confused, across the mall, Ryan, standing outside a sporting goods store, laughing, talking, very clearly not dealing with an emergency, very clearly available. And standing beside him, a woman neither of them recognizes. Lila freezes, the expression on her face disappearing almost instantly. Not heartbreak, not yet, but something sharp, something disappointing, because suddenly that text message was all lies. Maya's protective instincts activate immediately. Maya. Oh, I hate him. Kayden. Maya. Nope. I hate him. Lila keeps staring across the atrium, trying not to care, trying not to react, trying and failing. For a moment, nobody says anything. The holiday crowd continues moving around them, laughing, shopping, living completely normal lives. Meanwhile, Lila stares across the atrium at Ryan. The disappointment on her face lasts only a second. Then it's gone, buried, locked away. She adjusts the shopping bags on her arm, straightens her shoulders, and turns around. Lila, let's go. Maya blinks, caught off guard. Maya, that's it. Lila starts walking, not fast, not angry, just done. Lila, yup. Maya, what? Lila, no. She keeps moving, the firmness in her voice stopping Maya immediately. Kayden quickly steps beside her, concerned. Kayden, you okay? Lila laughs once, a humorless little laugh. Lila, fantastic, which tells both of them she is absolutely not fantastic. They continue walking through the mall, the giant Christmas tree slowly disappearing behind them. Maya, you don't have to pretend that doesn't bother you. Lila keeps her eyes forward. Lila, I'm not pretending. A pause. Then, I'm choosing not to chase someone who clearly doesn't know what they want. That shuts everyone up for a second, because despite the hurt underneath it, there's truth there. Maya's expression softens immediately, the protective anger giving way to concern. Maya, you liked him? Lila shrugs. Lila, maybe. Another shrug, smaller this time. Lila continued. But if somebody wants to be with you, they don't make you wonder all the time. That line lands, hard, because suddenly, it isn't just about Ryan anymore. Kayden feels it too, the accidental parallel, the thing neither she nor Maya says out loud. Florida, Xavier, uncertainty, wondering, waiting. Lila notices the look that crosses Kayden's face immediately. Lila. Oh no. Kayden already knows where this is going. Kayden. Don't. Lila. You're thinking about Florida boy. Kayden. Please stop calling him that. Maya. Wait! Maya points between them, realization dawning. You think Xavier is choosing Florida? Kayden looks away. Which is answer enough. The three stop outside a department store entrance, people flowing around them, holiday music drifting overhead. For the first time since the park, Kayden finally says it out loud. Kayden. I don't know what he's doing. A pause. And that's the hard part. Maya and Lila exchange a look, because now they're not talking about Ryan. Not really. They're talking about fear. The fear of caring about someone before you know whether they'll stay. And for the first time all day, the mall trip becomes less about shopping and more about the three women standing together trying to figure out what love is actually supposed to look like. Snowdrift Town glows beneath the winter night sky. Thousands of lights twinkle across the streets below. The town square countdown clock can be seen in the distance, still counting down the days until New Year's Eve. 4 days remaining. The rooftop itself is already beautiful. String lights wrap around railings, lanterns line the edges. Small heaters stand ready for guests. A temporary dance floor has been set up near the center, a clear view of Thawball Drop. And yet, Maya somehow isn't satisfied. Maya. No, 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 no. Kayden and Lila immediately stop what they're doing. Kayden. What? Lila. What's wrong now? Maya points dramatically at a strand of lights. The vibe is wrong, Kayden. It looks great. What do you mean, Maya? It's a rooftop New Year's party. The vibe is literally the entire event. Lila rolls her eyes. Lila. You realize normal people don't hang decorations, Maya. Normal people don't host legendary countdown parties. People are going to be talking about this for many years to come. Kayden quietly turns back toward her decorations. Kayden. She's reached a level of stress where she's inventing problems. Lila. Agreed. Maya points accusingly at both of them. Maya. Mock me now. You'll thank me when you're crying at midnight because everything looks magical. The three continue decorating. For a while, things are easy, comfortable. The kind of friendship that comes from years of shared history. Kayden watches Maya moving around the rooftop, checking details, fixing decorations, making sure every corner feels welcoming. And suddenly, it makes sense. Maya isn't obsessed with parties. She's obsessed with people feeling connected. Because when she was younger, people left. Friends moved away. Family drifted apart. Relationships ended. So now she builds places where people stay, even if only for one night. Kayden smiles quietly to herself, understanding something she never fully understood before. Across the rooftop, Lila stands near the railing adjusting lanterns. A little quieter than usual. The Ryan situation is still bothering her, even if she says otherwise. Maya notices too. Of course she does. She walks over. Less dramatic this time, more genuine. Maya. You okay? Lila keeps adjusting decorations, avoiding eye contact. Lila. Yep. Maya. That's the same answer Kayden gives when she's absolutely not okay. Kayden immediately points. Kayden. Hey. Lila laughs despite herself. Then finally, she sighs. Lila. I just hate wasting time on people. I hate my time being wasted. A pause. Lila. Conti. Especially when they make you feel stupid for caring. The rooftop grows quieter, not sad, just honest. Maya reaches over and bumps her shoulder lightly. Maya. For what it's worth, he's the idiot. Lila smiles faintly. Lila. I know, and she actually does, which helps. A little. The three women stand together overlooking Snowdrift City, lights glowing below, snow falling softly around them. Then, Maya notices Kayden staring into the distance, thinking, again. Maya. Okay, your turn. Kayden immediately groans. Kayden. No. Maya. Yes. Lila. Absolutely yes. Kayden already regrets being here. Kayden. I'm fine. Simultaneously, Maya and Lila. Liar. Kayden throws her hands up, defeated. The wind picks up softly across the rooftop, snowflakes drifting between the string lights overhead. And finally, Kayden looks out over the town, toward the distant glow of Snowdrift Books, thinking about Xavier, Florida, the future, everything. Kayden. What if he's already made up his mind? Silence. Because that's the real fear. Not that Xavier is leaving, but he's already chosen to leave. And she's the only one still hoping that maybe somehow, someway he stays. Maya simply looks out across the town beside Kayden, quiet, thoughtful. Maya. Can I tell you something? Kayden glances over, surprised by the tone. Kayden. Sure. Maya folds her arms against the cold, thinking carefully. Maya. A few years ago, I was dating somebody. Kayden blinks. Lila immediately looks interested. Lila. Wait, an actual relationship? Maya. Thank you for the confidence. Lila shrugs. Lila, I've only ever seen you date chaotic men. Even Maya laughs at that. But then her smile fades slightly. Maya. Anyway, I really loved him. That gets both of their attention, because Maya almost never talks about stuff like this. And one day, he got offered this incredible opportunity in Chicago, a dream job, something he'd wanted forever. Kayden listens carefully, already seeing where this is going. Maya continued. I spent months obsessing over what decision he was going to make. Every conversation, every text, every weird pause. I kept trying to figure out if he was staying. The rooftop falls quiet. Maya continued. Eventually, I realized something. She looks directly at Kayden. I wasn't actually scared of him leaving. A beat. I was scared of not being chosen. That one hits hard. Because that's exactly what Kayden couldn't put into words. Maya sees it immediately on her face. It's not Florida. It's not the job. She points toward Kayden's chest gently. Maya continued. You're terrified that when he has to choose between the future he imagined and you won't be enough. Kayden looks away, because the accuracy of that statement is honestly painful. Snow continues drifting around them. Kayden. What happened? Maya smiles softly. Not a sad smile, just an older one. Maya. He took the job. Lila winces. Lila. Ouch. Maya. Yeah, a little. She laughs quietly. Maya continued. But here's the thing. The relationship didn't end because he left. Kayden looks back at her. It ended because neither of us was brave enough to talk honestly before he did. We spent months worrying instead of communicating. That lands too. Because suddenly Maya isn't talking about Chicago anymore. She's talking about Kayden and Xavier. Maya. You can't control what Xavier chooses. But you can make sure he actually knows how you feel before he leaves. The words hang in the cold night air. For a long moment, nobody speaks. Then Lila quietly nods. Lila. She's right. And I hate when she's right. Maya. It's exhausting for everyone involved. That finally earns a laugh from both of them. The tension eases slightly, not gone, but lighter. Kayden looks back out over the town, thinking. Because for the first time, she's beginning to realize something. Maybe the problem isn't Florida. Maybe the problem is that she's waiting for Xavier to make every difficult move first. And maybe that's not fair. The three friends stand together beneath the rooftop lights. Snow falling, the future uncertain, but somehow a little less frightening than it was an hour ago. Snow falls lightly across downtown Snowdrift. Christmas decorations still hang from lampposts. Storefront windows sparkle beneath the winter sky. A giant banner stretches across Main Street. 3 days until the new year. Maya walks quickly down the sidewalk carrying her phone that has a party supply list on it, coffee, and entirely too much responsibility. Maya. Okay, 3 days. Everything is fine. Nobody panic. A pause. I'm panicking. She immediately pulls out her phone. Group chat. Emotionally unstable women. Maya. 3 days, people. Maya. The countdown approaches. Kayden. It's 8:12 in the morning. Lila. Please leave me alone. Maya smiles. Pocketing the phone. Suddenly, wham! She collides directly into someone. Coffee splashes. Phone falls out of her hand. Maya. Oh my God! Man. Oh my God! Both crouch down at the same time to collect phone. Their hands accidentally touch. Maya looks up and freezes. The guy is late 20s, dark coat, warm smile, kind eyes, unexpectedly calm for someone who just got hit with coffee. The man smiles. Sorry about that. I see you have a lot of things to do. Maya stares for a second too long. What? Man. Well, I see that you have a bunch of errands you got to run judging by your list. Maya. Oh yeah, right. You're just... Man. Just what? Maya. Tall, like really tall. The man laughs. Yeah, I get that all the time. He helps gather the rest of Maya's papers. My name is Ben. Maya. Hi, I'm Maya. His eyes catch the words, New Year's Eve party checklist. Ben. Big event, huh? Maya immediately lights up. Maya. Huge. Legendary. Historic. Life-changing. Ben. That's a lot of pressure for one party. Maya. I know. Ben smiles. I kind of want to see this party now. Maya pauses. Maya. Yeah? Ben just shrugs. Maya enters a flower shop to pick up decorative arrangements. Ben somehow ends up walking beside her after offering to help carry supplies. The conversation flows naturally. Easy. Unexpectedly easy. Snow lines the riverbanks. The two walk together carrying boxes and decorations. For the first time in years, Maya isn't talking because she's nervous. She's talking because she's genuinely interested. Ben listens. Actually listens. Which catches her off guard. Ben. So why do you care so much about this party? Maya smiles softly. Maya. Because people need places to celebrate. Also, it could bring people together, even if it's only for one night. Ben studies her. Ben. I think that's a pretty good reason. Maya looks away for a moment. Later. The cafe is quiet, warm, comfortable. Maya and Ben sit across from each other drinking coffee, talking about everything from terrible holiday music to the places they've always wanted to visit, laughing. Neither notices how much time has passed, until Ben checks the clock. Ben. Wow, I've accidentally spent my entire day with you. Maya laughs. Maya. Accidentally? Ben. Mostly accidentally. A pause. Ben continued. Maybe a little intentionally. Maya lowers her gaze to her coffee, hiding a smile. Ben. So, hypothetically, if someone wanted to attend this legendary rooftop party, Maya raises an eyebrow. Maya. Hypothetically. Ben. Would they need a date? A grin slowly spreads across Maya's face. Maya. Not really. Are they asking to go as a date? Ben meets her eyes. Ben. I am. For perhaps the first time in the entire movie, Maya is speechless. That's either a very good sign or a very bad sign. Maya blinks. Maya. Sorry, I think my brain just rebooted. Ben laughs. Ben. Should I ask again? Maya. No, please don't. I don't know if it'll survive a second time. They both laugh, the nervousness breaking slightly. For a moment, neither says anything, just smiling. Then Maya leans back in her chair, trying and failing to play it cool. So, you just ask every woman on dates after spilling their coffee? Ben. None that is as beautiful as you. Maya immediately looks away, smiling despite herself. That was smooth. Ben. Thank you. I've been practicing since approximately 11 this morning. That gets another laugh out of her. The conversation continues. Easy, natural, like they've somehow known each other longer than a single day. Until finally, Ben glances toward the window, the afternoon sky already beginning to darken. Ben. I should probably let you get back to planning the greatest party in human history. Maya. Probably. Neither moves. Ben. But before I go, Maya raises an eyebrow. Is that a yes? A smile spreads across her face. Maya. Yeah, it's a yes. Ben smiles back, genuinely happy. Good. Maya. Oh yeah, here's the address. Then Ben stands. Ben. I'll see you New Year's Eve. Maya. I better. For a brief moment, it looks like he might kiss her, but instead, he simply smiles, lays down a $100 bill, and walks toward the door. Maya watches him leave. Still smiling, the bell above the cafe door rings, Ben disappears into the snowy street outside, and Maya immediately grabs her phone. Group chat, Maya, emergency. 3 dots appear instantly. Kayden. What happened? Lila. You okay? Maya types furiously. Maya. I think I accidentally got asked out. Silence. Then, Kayden. What? Lila. Excuse me? Maya grins. The bookstore is busy. Customers browse shelves. Soft music plays overhead. The familiar warmth of Snowdrift books fills the air. Kayden stands behind the register, technically working, actually reading Maya's messages. Kayden. No way. Across the store. Lila immediately texts back. Lila. Details. Maya. His name is Ben. He's hot, respectfully. Kayden laughs out loud. Mr. Whitelock looks up from organizing books. Mr. Whitelock. Good news? Kayden. Maya met a guy. Mr. Whitelock nods knowingly, laughing. Lord help him. Kayden bursts out laughing. Then, the front door opens. The bell above it rings. Cold winter air sweeps inside. Kayden looks up and immediately freezes. Xavier, standing in the doorway, holding his camera, looking directly at her. And unlike every other time, this time it looks like he came here with a purpose. The bookstore door closes behind Xavier. The bell overhead settles. The warmth of the store rushes around him. Kayden immediately knows something is different. Not bad, but serious. Xavier isn't carrying his usual easy smile. He's carrying a decision, or at least the weight of one. Behind the register, Kayden straightens slightly, trying not to let her nerves show. Kayden. Hey! Xavier. Hey! A small smile appears between them. Brief, but real. Mr. Whitelock watches from across the store, looks between them once, then immediately disappears into the back room. Mr. Whitelock. I'm suddenly very busy. Kayden closes her eyes, mortified. Xavier laughs softly, the tension easing for exactly 2 seconds. Then it returns, because he's still standing there. Not browsing, not photographing, not pretending to need a book. He came specifically for her. Kayden notices immediately. Kayden. What's wrong? Xavier exhales slowly, looks around the store. Can we talk? That makes her stomach drop. The quietest part of the bookstore. 2 armchairs tucked beside a large window. Light snow falling outside. Customers browse in the distance, far enough away that nobody can hear them. Kayden sits across from Xavier, waiting. And Xavier hates that he's about to put this weight on her. Xavier. Julian texted again. Immediately. Florida. Kayden already knows. Kayden. Oh. The word comes out smaller than she intended. Xavier notices. Of course he notices. He looks down briefly, then back up. Xavier. He needs an answer. A pause. By the end of New Year's. The words hit harder than either of them expected. Because suddenly, this isn't some future problem. This isn't a maybe someday conversation. This is happening. Now. Day of New Year's Eve. Day of the rooftop party. Day of everything changes. Kayden swallows, trying to keep her emotions under control. That's soon, Xavier. Yeah. Neither knows what to do with the silence that follows. Outside the window, snow continues falling. The town keeps moving. Inside, everything feels paused. Kayden. Do you know what you're going to do? There it is. The question neither of them wants to ask. Xavier leans back in the chair, thinking. Xavier. I thought I did. Kayden's heart sinks. But then, now I don't. That stops her. Because he isn't saying, I'm leaving. He's saying, I don't know anymore. And somehow that's both comforting and terrifying. Xavier looks directly at her. No walls, no jokes, no escape routes. Xavier. A month ago, this would have been the easiest decision of my life. A pause. Then I met you. Kayden's breath catches. The bookstore suddenly feels very quiet, very small, very dangerous. Because that's the closest either of them has come to saying what they're actually feeling, and neither looks away. The words linger between them. Then I met you. Neither looks away. Neither knows what to do with that sentence now that it's out in the open. The bookstore fades into the background. Customers, music, pages turning. None of it matters. Kayden's heart pounds against her chest, because for days now she's been carrying this fear, trying to ignore it, trying to be supportive, trying to be mature, but suddenly, she doesn't want to pretend anymore. Kayden. Can I be honest? Xavier nods immediately. Xavier. Always. Kayden looks down, then back up. Kayden. I'm scared. The vulnerability in her voice hits him instantly. Not because of Florida, at least, not entirely. She lets out a nervous laugh. Kayden continued. I'm scared because every time I start thinking about you leaving, I realize how much I don't want you to. Xavier's expression softens completely. Kayden keeps going before she loses the courage. And I know we've only known each other for a little while. I know that probably sounds ridiculous. Xavier. It doesn't. A pause. Kayden. But every day since the gala, I've started imagining you being here. Her voice grows quieter. At the bookstore, at Mia's cafe, walking through town, at Maya's party. A pause. Kayden continued. And now all I can think about is what happens if you're not. Xavier stares at her, his chest tightening, because this is exactly what he's been feeling too. Kayden takes a breath, the hardest question finally arriving. What does Florida mean for us? There it is. Not, what does it mean for you? Not, what does it mean for your career? Us. The word hangs in the air, heavy, terrifying, important. Xavier looks away briefly toward the snowy window, thinking, searching. Then he looks back at her. That's the problem. Kayden's stomach drops, but Xavier immediately shakes his head. Xavier continued. No, that's not what I mean. He leans forward slightly. The problem is that I don't want to lose this. Kayden freezes. Xavier. Lose you. A pause. Us. Neither breathes for a second, because hearing him say it out loud changes everything. Xavier continued. And maybe that's crazy. Maybe we're both crazy. A small smile appears on Kayden's face. Kayden. That part's already been established. Xavier laughs softly, the tension breaking for half a second. Then it returns, stronger, more honest. Xavier. Kayden. His voice drops. I've spent my entire life chasing the next opportunity, the next city, the next project, the next thing. A pause. Xavier continued. And for the first time, I don't know if the thing I want is somewhere else, but I have to take that gamble. I can't miss this opportunity. Kayden's eyes begin to glisten slightly, not crying, just overwhelmed, because she realizes something. He is choosing the option for him and his career. He's standing exactly where she is, in the middle, afraid. Trying to figure out whether love is worth changing a future you've spent years building. And for the first time since all of this started, neither of them feels alone in that fear. They sit together beside the snowy bookstore window, not having solved the problem, not having made the decision, but finally sharing it. And somehow, that feels like progress. The party is underway and there are loads of people there. Music, laughter, people filling every room. The penthouse glows with warm gold lighting. Food and drinks are laid out on a party table in the kitchen. Maya moves through the crowd, greeting guests. For the first time all movie, she's not stressed. She's actually enjoying herself. Ben arrives, dressed up, carrying a small bouquet of winter flowers. Not flashy, just thoughtful. Maya freezes when she sees him. Ben, I figured the hostess deserved flowers. Maya. Wow, well, isn't that charming? Ben smiles. Ben, I had a little bit of time to prepare. They laugh, and immediately disappear into the crowd together. Across the room, Kayden spots Xavier arriving. Everything else fades away for a second, because tomorrow is January 1st. Tomorrow is Florida, and suddenly every moment feels more important. 11:30 p.m. The party has grown louder. Dancing, music, champagne, games being played, celebration. Kayden and Xavier find themselves alone in the kitchen, briefly escaping the chaos. For a moment, neither says anything. They're both thinking about tomorrow. Kayden. This party turned out pretty good. Xavier. Maya's going to remind everyone of this for the next decade. Kayden laughs. The laughter fades, and suddenly, the moment becomes quiet. Their eyes meet, closer now, more vulnerable than ever. Xavier looks like he wants to say something. Kayden looks like she wants to hear it. But then, Maya bursts through the room. Why are you two hiding? The moment disappears. The rooftop is breathtaking. Everything Maya imagined. Maybe even better. String lights glow overhead. The city stretches endlessly below, covered in snow. The giant countdown screen shines in the distance. Guests gather. The excitement builds. Maya stands beside Ben. Their hands find each other naturally. Nearby, Kayden and Xavier stand together, looking out across the city, neither really watching the countdown, both watching each other. The crowd begins. Crowd. 10, 9, 8. Music swells. 7, 6, 5. Maya and Ben move closer. You can even hear the hundreds of people out on the street counting down too. Crowd. 4, 3. Kayden's heart pounds. Xavier slowly leans toward her. Crowd. 2, 1. Happy New Year's. Fireworks explode across the sky. The crowd erupts. Ben kisses Maya. A genuine romantic kiss. Cheers around them. Meanwhile, Kayden and Xavier move closer. Almost there. Finally. Then Kayden freezes. Not because she doesn't want to. Because she wants to too much. The fear. The uncertainty. Tomorrow. Florida. Everything hits at once. She hesitates. Just enough. Xavier notices and gently stops. No anger, no disappointment, just understanding. They share a soft smile instead, standing together beneath exploding fireworks, the kiss still waiting. It is the morning after, gray skies, snow outside, quiet after the celebration. Xavier stands with his suitcase, Florida waiting. Kayden stands beside him, neither wanting to say goodbye. Time is running out. Finally, Xavier laughs softly. You know, we've had some great moments together. Kayden laughs through her emotions. Kayden. Yeah, we did. A pause. We can still text and FaceTime each other though, right? Xavier. Of course we can. And maybe you can come out there with me sometime. It's a whole lot warmer over there. Kayden. That would be great. I would love to go to the beach. They both laugh. Then, for the first time in the entire movie, Xavier stops overthinking, stops hesitating, stops waiting. He steps forward, places a hand gently against her face, grabs her chin, and kisses her. Weeks of feelings finally crashing together. Kayden immediately kisses him back. The kiss grows deeper, longer, passionate, the kind both of them have been holding back all this time. The airport around them completely disappears. Only them. Only this moment. When they finally separate, neither can stop smiling. Xavier. I should have done that weeks ago. Kayden. Yeah, you really should have. They laugh, foreheads touching. Xavier is about to be late. Reality returns. Xavier picks up his suitcase. They share one last look, a promise without words. Then Xavier walks towards security. Kayden watches him go. He turns around once, raises a hand. She waves back. And as Xavier disappears from view, the camera stays on Kayden, smiling, tearful, hopeful.